Hi guys, welcome to another exciting tutorial. So you've got an absolutely brilliant one for you today. It's basically the easiest way to get yourself a custom avatar in VRChat. So I'm sure a lot of you have come in and out of VRChat a little bit, you're getting used to it, getting comfortable, and you're probably starting to think, I really want that digital identity that I can attach myself to, and I really want that thing that represents me. And I'm sure you've been to all the public libraries of very generous offerings that are out there. You've seen a lot that's on offer, and I think now you probably want something a little bit more you, a little bit more special. So that is what we are here today to talk about. So first of all, we're going to go into sort of like why pay money for an avatar? Well, the good news is you don't have to, but some of the more premium ones do tend to be a little bit better. So we'll go through some of the offerings. Also, you need to understand what you're buying. I've seen a lot of people go off to stores and just very quickly put down money, and then realise they've bought the wrong thing, and they can't use it. And there's, of course, no refunds with these sorts of things, so you gotta watch out for that. So we'll cover that as well. Yeah. We'll go through sort of how to search the stores, how to find the stores, how to buy the avatars, how to then load them, how to actually then upload them into VRChat as private avatars that you can then use, and if you so wish, go on to modify, and all of the above. So yeah, without any more preamble, let's get going. Hi, I'm the Throughout Tiger. Welcome to the channel. Here you'll find tutorials, guides, and a look at life inside the Metaverse across many different platforms. A lot of you already have a headset, but I want to teach you skills that you never knew you had, and show you places and communities that you probably never knew existed. You've probably seen a lot of content from journalists and influencers who honestly have no idea what amazing things people like you and I are actually doing in here. This is the other side of that story. I spent the last several years actually inside these platforms, building worlds, running social hubs, and figuring things out the hard way. And I want to share everything I've learned with you. So stick around and follow me. There's a lot to explore, and I'm really glad you're here. Okay, so why buy an avatar? Well, you've probably noticed a lot of the public avatars keep just randomly disappearing. And that could be that perhaps some of your favourite styles of avatars might contain some inappropriate features that are being worn into areas that they really shouldn't be. And again, we'll cover that. Also, it could be the creators themselves have just taken them down. They might have put them up as a sample, and then they're like, ooh, that was a good teaser. Let's just take them down and see who can come and then buy them and, have a license to use them formally then as a private avatar. So that's part one. Part two, it's the best way to get into avatar customization. This is a piece of advice that was given to me by a very good friend of mine, Pony007. He said, trust me, don't try and build an avatar from scratch. It's really complicated. Go and buy a really good one that you like and work with it. Start with the textures, move on to more complicated things, and in time you'll get the confidence to then move on to actually build your own. And that was a really, really good piece of advice, and it's worked well for me. Yeah, obviously making clothing is a thing on top of that. Like, most people will go and buy an avatar and they'll want to put some sort of logo on, and the trousers or the t-shirt, something like that, right? So it's a really great way to get into it quickly. If you've got the files, which is what you do when you buy them, you can actually upload different versions of them as well. So whilst I know a lot of avatars tend to carry their entire wardrobes around with them, you can create sort of different versions of the same avatar and put different clothing on them over time. And there's a lot of clothing out there. We won't cover clothing in this tutorial, but oh my god, many options. But also really, and probably most importantly actually, it supports an amazing creator ecosystem. So there's a lot of amazing creators out there, and we've got some sort of examples down below, just a real small smattering down there, but there's so many more amazing creators who are creating and listing these avatars all the time for people like you and I to go off and have a look at, and if we like them, pay them money for their efforts, and then actually we get to sort of keep that. We get sort of a license to use that however we so wish, as termed by the term of service, or the TOS they call it, which you have to read when you buy an avatar. It's very important. We'll cover that in a sec. Do you have to pay money? No. There are a lot of avatars that are actually available free as well. Yeah, there's a good selection of both clothing and avatars out there, which you'll discover, which you can pick up for free legitimately off stores. yeah, have a little look for them if it's paying money. These are sour tastes in your mouth, and by all means, there's a lot of offerings out there. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so what are the most popular styles of avatar? Well, there's a lot. I mean, there's the newer sort of boost style ones, the modular avatars that can be customized in a desktop application called a VRChat. We're not going to cover that on today. We'll probably do a feature session on that. That tends to be avatars built around what they call the non-destructive framework, and they're very, very popular. They do really look like Japanese cartoon characters. So yeah, that is a thing if that's what you want. However, if you're after the more sort of anime-looking ones, you can certainly look. There's an absolute load of them as well. There's species like Zinpia, pandas, even Venus. There's so many as well. I'm not going to name them all here, but this that I'm wearing here is actually based on a Zinpia base, and the face, I believe, is made by Mink23. But yeah, you can basically pick up these combinations of avatars that have been put together. And they're incredible, and they come with lots of different clothing options as well, so have a little peruse when you're looking through them for all that. Also on top of that, you have robots and monsters, of course, and then really you've also got a very busy market of anthropomorphic, they can barely pronounce it, sort of models, and they tend to be the more sort of animal-like ones, which are fairies and scalies, and there's so many more as well. Again, a little sort of selection down there, one of each sort of category. You can see Celestia is more of the sort of anime boost sort of category. You've got Snow Macho down there, which is probably more of a monster, I guess. And then you've got the Fluffy Griffin over on the left. That is absolutely going to be, I don't know if it's technically a fairy or if there's a feather kind, I'm not sure. But yeah, you should be whatever you want, guys. Go crazy with your imagination. So understand what you're buying. This is one of the first mistakes that people make, I think, and watch out for this. When you go to buy an avatar, if you are using like a Quest standalone headset, so you're not using a PC, don't buy a PC-only avatar. That's not going to work well for you. You can downward convert them, but I wouldn't suggest that for your first few avatars. It's go for the ones that are PC and Quest. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you have an avatar, if you buy a PC and Quest avatar, it'll come with two projects. One will be suitably optimized for display on the Quest, and then the other one will be the full fat version on the PC. Yeah, there's a whole topic there, but if you only buy a PC one, you won't be able to see it if you're on the Quest. And in fact, even if you're on the PC and you buy a PC-only one, all the people on the Quest won't be able to see what your avatar looks like. They'll just see some fullback avatar or an imposter. So I think you owe it to yourself, probably. There is such a high user base of sort of standalone BI users. Definitely do go for PC and Quest, unless you've got a really specific reason not to. Also, just a note on the PC, Quest, and Opti avatars. So some of these avatars will come with an optimized version. That's always a good idea if provided, because they will be, and there's a little bit around down the bottom, around the scoring of these things, the performance rank. Most avatars that you buy will be listed probably poor or very poor, because they've got their entire wardrobe on of clothing. And that's not very well optimized. They're great fun, and in smaller instances, maybe 20, 30 people, absolutely fine. But I would say that once you start wanting to go to the 80 player instances and above, that an optimized avatar is really a good idea to have. In fact, it might even be a requirement to getting into these places. Because if you have a lot of very high complexity avatars in one space, it can cause people's headsets to go a little bit janky and suffer poor frame rates. And so people at the door may stop you from going in if you don't have a well-rated avatar. They may even advise that you switch to a really good one anyway. So yeah, watch out for that. Yeah, but if that's not what you intend to do, don't worry too much about it. You can always get sort of very easy to find well-optimized avatars to go to these places. Okay, so just a little bit on what we sort of said before. Really, when you're buying an avatar, you're buying the blueprint for it. And so when we go through the upload process, you'll see the very first avatar you must upload is always the PC version of it. That's very, very important you do that. So what we'll do is we'll upload the PC avatar, and then we upload the Quest avatar, but we upload it to the same blueprint as the PC one. So when we wear the avatar, the PC people get to see us as the PC avatar, and all the Quest people get to see the Quest equivalent. So a little bit on that as well. The Quest versions of avatars have to be like under 10 megabytes, which is significantly less than the PC ones. They don't support the more advanced material properties like transparency maps and shaders. They also don't have audio link support, which is always a great one in nightclubs. People can have these amazing effects like sort of graphic equalizers that, you know, for example, when they're dancing around in clubs, their boob might light up. You might see little bars on them showing the bass and the treble or whatever, right? So people can have great fun with these things. But also a limited number of fizz bones on the Quest ones. So I can't remember the exact number. I think it's 8. You can only have 8 fizz bones. So you'll notice obviously fizz bones make, you know, your bits jiggle and also your hair swoosh. And you can have a lot on the PC ones. But on the Quest one, only 8. So you'll notice a significant reduction on Quest avatars. But yeah, those are just a limit to the system, so you have to abide by them. A little bit on not safe for work content. So a lot of people like avatars that allow them to express themselves in a lot of ways. I mean, we're all adults here. They are technically not allowed within the policies of VRChat. However, if you sort of get asking around people and really do a little bit of homework, you'll find that in private instances in VRChat, where a sort of a common culture or house rules are agreed, well, actually these things are generally okay. However, never wear any of them into public instances. That is a big no-no. If you do that, your avatar will be removed. You'll probably get a strike. So, adult avatars, like, not for public instances. That is written in the rule book. There's a whole lot to it, really. It could be dependent on you getting reported. If you go into a private instance and it's not really like the right culture to be doing that, then you're likely to get reported by someone who's offended, and that means your avatar could be, you know, trashed. You could get a strike for that, maybe. Yeah, there's a lot to read up. Just do your homework, ask around. Not safe for work avatars, they do exist. But yeah, just don't wear them in public and you'll be absolutely okay. I've tried to sort of put a guide at the top right here to say, like, you know, here are the different types of instance. You've got the ones that are highlighted in red, both public and group public. They are public. So if you go into any kind of instance with the word public in it, in a not safe for work avatar, you're going to be in problems there. I would say that there's a bit of a fade off there as well. And so group bus, because friends of people in the group can join, that's still a little risky. Then when you go down to like invite only things, they tend to be considered far more private. But group instances are still considered private. They're not explicitly public. So play it your way, stay safe, keep everyone else safe. Okay. Alright. When you're buying an avatar, always have a loyal look for the notes and terms of service, right? You have to agree to them to buy the avatar. And whilst there are some common things that they tend to all have, there might be some special hidden clauses that you might not agree with. And if you don't agree with them, then don't buy the avatar. So generally, they'll contain things like, you know, you're buying a license to upload and use it personally. It's not the same as actually owning the avatars. You're buying the files that you can generally modify. Again, more on that in a sec. But over and above all, you don't really own it. You're basically buying a license. It's like buying a record. You don't really own the music. You own the license to use it. There's a clause here. So yeah, most of these things will say you can only upload this avatar as private. You do not upload it as public. So when you go to upload the avatar, and we will cover this, you'll find that you get a choice of private and public. It defaults to private. Whatever you do, if it says in terms and conditions don't upload it as public, then make sure you set it to private. What does that do? Well, if you've got cloning turned on and you upload it as public, then people will be able to clone it. That's obviously very bad. You don't want that. So make sure you upload it as private, guys. You cannot share the avatar files with anyone. and you definitely can't resell them on to people. Those are no-nos. Also, reuse of the avatar or any parts tends to be a thing that they call out in there. So if you buy an avatar and it comes with certain clothing, that again, those creators a lot of the time have paid commercial rights to use. You can't just lift that off that and put it on your own projects. You certainly can't lift it off and put it on things that you're giving to other people or selling. That is also absolutely no-no. If you are gifting the avatar to someone, so if you're buying it as a gift for someone, you must explicitly declare that at the checkout. There will be a box usually saying who are you buying this for, if not yourself. Make sure you fill it out, because they do check. Don't claim that you made it. I hear this expression a lot. They call it gatekeeping. If someone asks you where you got an item of clothing or an avatar, do your best to try and refer them to the shop. Definitely don't claim that you made it. That's a no-no as well. Some licenses may only allow you to use the avatar in VRChat, so you might decide that you're getting quite attached to your digital identity and you may want to take them out to other platforms. Just check which ones they're okay with. Some of the terms and conditions you'll come across are quite restrictive, like for example, some may forbid you from making videos or live streams using them. Watch out for those ones. And again, if you don't agree, don't buy it. Simple. And some may forbid you from changing them too much or at all. So they may be like, you can't change any textures on this, or they might even say like, don't change the textures or the meshes too much, that it's unrecognizable. So again, if you don't agree with it, don't buy it. You'll usually have to submit your Discord and or the VRChat username at point of purchase. That's just so they can check up on you. If you don't do that correctly, they may ban you from the store, so make sure you do follow that rule. All the creators are pretty much like, they're cool, right? If you've got any questions or comments or anything, just reach out to them on their Discords. Most of them have Discords. Yeah, just get into the general channels and just throw some questions in there at them if you've got any sort of concerns. Okay. Now, there is another way to get custom avatars. And this is by using the official store, which is actually in your in-game menu. So you just go into the menu, look for the store button, and then get searching avatars. This is actually a great way to do it if you don't want to go down the sort of the desktop editor route, like by installing Unity and then uploading. I can get a lot of people might be a bit scared of that, but we will go through that in this tutorial. It's really not that scary. So prices are in VRChat credits. And all avatars in here currently seem to be safe for work, cartoony, and quite fun. That might not be what you're looking for, but there are some amazing things in it. I did see there was a tiny cartoon cat flying around in half an avocado. I absolutely love it. I nearly bought it. But yeah, the marketplace is definitely an emerging thing with some really great creations in there. So hey, spoil yourself. I do think with the custom marketplace though, I don't believe you get to keep and edit the files. I think you are literally buying a license to use these avatars within VRChat. You don't get a copy of anything. You just get it added to your library inside VRChat. So there's a big difference there. Okay, so searching stores. This is a big one. I get asked this a lot. Like where to start? Well, it's not really where you start. This is kind of where you end. So PayHip, Jinxxy and Booth are all storefronts. Some of them have like sort of private storefronts as well, and there's a few more beyond that. I think I've seen some host them on different e-commerce sites as well. But you will come across these sites. Not all of them list their prices in sort of maybe your currency. So let's just go through it. They're great because when you buy stuff off them, they tend to keep an inventory of everything you've bought as well. So that's quite nice. Some of them can be difficult to navigate in search, though, I would say. Like when you first go onto places like sort of Gumroad or PayHip, or even Booth, you could be a little lost as to where the hell you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to search for. Yeah, for that, you probably want to start at a search site. So here we go. Jinxxy, Nexxy, and Booth Flora. Now, the two that I use the most have definitely been Jinxxy and Nexxy. They have really, really good lists of things that are for sale. Jinxxy actually is a storefront itself, and Nexxy will point you to the other sites where the other people have their store and their items, but it's a great way to search through them. So if you're out looking for a specific kind of avatar, maybe looking for something a little bit gothic, or you're after, someone in a bikini, You can absolutely search for these sorts of terms. And they cover more than just avatars. You can also buy accessories and clothing. So yeah, definitely these are the sites you wanna start hitting. They're the search indexes and the easiest way to find what you're looking for. So to buy an avatar, I'll just quickly show you how we do that. So this is Jinxxy as an example, which is one of the sites that I use. And if I sort of just show you, I can sort of search for an avatar on the top. Now, I'll show you one that I bought a while back. So it was Zardia by Cryptic Cat. So I'm going to search for Cryptic Cat, who's a great avatar maker. And I'm going to show you in just a second what happens. So if I click on this thumbnail here, it'll take me to Zardia's page. And then when I sort of just jump into this page, you can actually see some thumbnails. So if you know, it's a great way to sort of see a showcase of the avatar. You can see the price up there as well. So that's $15. That's very, very well priced. Avatars tend to be between sort of $10 to maybe $40 usually. It can be more, depending what's in them and who's making them as well. You can see some things in here, like they are tested for sort of full body tracking and various other things. There's a whole listing of the clothes that are in there as well. These are things you need to have a look at when you're buying it to know how many extras you get with each avatar. You can also see here that, look, the Quest version only has Boba. So the other add-ons are available on the PC one. So you still get that with this pack, but you can only use it when you're on the PC, and only people on PC can see it. And then this is very normal as well. You've got some sort of stats at the top showing you the size of the file, also the credits showing you all the different components. So a lot of avatar creators will buy clothing, commercial licenses for clothing, and they keep sort of a bill of materials in there, including any sculpts they've done, body meshes, face meshes. And then the TOS, the terms of service. So this is a very good example of a terms of service. Sort of goes through the stuff we just covered. So you're not allowed to take any assets off my models. You must buy them from the original creators. You can't upload these avatars publicly, and you can't upload them to other people's accounts. But yeah, so that's a typical store listing. And then we're just going to sort of add that to cart and buy it, I guess. Well, not really, because we bought it before, but just for the demo purpose. So once you've bought the avatar, you get this in your inventory, and this is what a typical inventory screen looks like on Jinxxy. So you've got some guidance in here as well, saying use VRC Creator Companion. It says that it includes a set of shaders, which is called Poi, which is short for Poyomi. You'll get familiar with these over time as you see them. Very, very common. It actually tells you on here, look, how to upload. So you import the avatar, and then you upload normally, etc., etc. Don't worry too much. We're going to go through this in just a few moments. But you can see that down the bottom, this is what we actually bought. We've bought the Quest Unity package, the PC Unity package, and the Poyomi Toon package, which it did mention above. It includes something to mention. When you buy avatars, you don't always get the same exact files. Like, some of them might be bundled up in an actual Unity project, some of them might be as Unity packages. So there are slight differences, and there's a lot of great tutorials out there on those differences, but we'll go through a typical scenario now. So, first of all, if you haven't already got it, you need to go get the VRChat Creator Companion. That's so important, but we're going to need that for this. So what does the VRChat Creator Companion do? Well, the VRChat Creator Companion actually installs the correct version of Unity for you and all the correct project templates. A lot of people run straight over to Unity, and they download the Unity, and then they realize they've just wasted half an hour installing the wrong version. So don't do that. Install the VRChat Creator Companion directly from the website. So that's vcc.docs.vrchat.com. If you head over there, you'll get a page that looks a little bit like this. And really what you do is you just sort of scroll down a little bit and you can see download it. The Creator Companion is available on the VRChat website, and it says you can always download the latest version directly. That's the link you need to click, that little one just down the bottom. There is a video halfway up the page, which is an official video on how to sort of install and set up the Creator Companion. If I don't cover anything here, it will be in that video, so do keep that handy, okay? Once we've actually got it installed, and we've got sort of the version of Unity installed with it as well, it's covered when we install it and go through all the initial setup. You can kind of see in settings where everything lives. So you can see the version of Unity that we're using here is 2022.3.22f1. If we just move on, that's the settings button down the bottom, if I didn't mention that already. And then we click at the top left to go to projects, where we get to see all our wonderful projects. So we get to see worlds and avatars here. Now in this tutorial, we're going to be concerned with the avatars. So all you need to do, you may find there's nothing in that screen right now if you've just installed it. We're getting there. Click on the create new project button. Okay. And now you've clicked that. You need to give it a name. So what we're going to do, this is important. We're going to create 2 projects ultimately. One of them will be for the PC version of the Zalia avatar, and the other one is going to be for the Quest one. So, my naming convention is I'll just call it avatar_Zadia_PC. So you know the PC one first. I mentioned it before, so important. Always do the PC one first. There is a reason for it. It's to do the parameters. I won't talk about that in depth now. Just do the PC one, and trust me. At the top right, we have to click on Unity 2022 Avatar Project. And then when we're ready, we hit Create Project, and off we go. Okay. So this is going to show us here that we've got the VRChat SDK here in the project. So that's kind of already put in there for us. There is a tool in there called Gesture Manager, which you can add. That's useful for testing, but really, we're not going to cover that right now. So all you have to do here is just hit that open project, okay? Then we have to give it a few minutes, and it just sort of initializes the project. When that's done, now we're looking at the blank project that we've just created. This is the Avatar Zadia PC. So, what we need to do is those files that we downloaded from Jinxxy, we need to, basically with that Unity window open, we need to double click the Zadia PC.Unity package, and that will, after a moment, show us this kind of screen. And it's showing us all components in that package. So once you've double clicked that package, it will make the screen appear. There'll be a little freeze for a moment. It's a lot of files. That's one thing I can't say enough. Inside Avatar projects, there's a lot of files you wouldn't believe. But we just literally, we don't touch anything. We just hit the import button down the bottom right, and it rattles on to the next bit. We do exactly the same thing, but with the Poitoon package. So we double click that, then after we're going to make sure that the avatar one imported okay, and after that we double click Poitoon, and then similarly we click import down the bottom, and we just give it a moment to do its thing. Okay, so once we're in, very often we're going to have a scene which is represented by this cube icon down the bottom. Now it might be in the base directory, it might be hidden slightly further in a directory somewhere, but have a look for it. This one, Cryptic Cat is very helpfully called it Open Me. So what you do is you double click on Open Me, and it opens the right scene with the avatar in it there. So once that's loaded up, if you go find Zadia in the top left, that's going to be the actual avatar. Now, of course, yours might be called something else. So click on the avatar object. You can see it highlights it with a little axes that appear, a little red, green, and blue. Once you've clicked that, just hover your mouse pointer over the main scene editor in the middle, and then press that F key. When you press F, it sort of zooms in on the avatar, which is great. So you get a little look at it. Once you've got that, go to the VRChat SDK menu at the top. Click on that to open that menu, and then go to Show Control Panel. When you hit Show Control Panel, this will appear. This might look familiar if you've been to my Upload a World tutorial, but if you've never seen this before, you need to log in with your VRChat account at this point. And once you do that, it will usually pop up with something saying, hey, you need to check your email and get a code and paste it in here, so do that as well. Once you're through that bit, you're good. Those credentials save with the project for a good amount of time, so you don't have to do this like every time, okay? So once you've got through that, you'll have this panel here saying create an avatar. And what you need to do, first of all, just check the selected avatar says the name of the avatar that you've got in the hierarchy, which for me is Zardia. Then give it a name. Call it whatever you want. I've just called it White Lotus Zardia. And that's how it's going to appear in my avatar library when I upload it. Then you've got visibility. This is an important one. You can't mess this up. Must be private. Must be private. If it's private, people cannot clone it. So always upload as private. You agreed to it in the terms of service, but you bought it, so make sure you get that bit right. And then, I gotta be honest, this is a new thing that is being pushed big time this year over in VRChat. Do set the content warnings. If your avatar contains anything sexually suggestive, like in skimpy outfits or any adult language, some of them do have, or any sort of violence on them at all, make sure you categorize it right. That's just going to help VRChat moderate this platform better. Yeah, I have to specify anything in secondary style either, because it's a private avatar, it's for your use only. And put a little description and just give it a nice little thumbnail there. You can select the image, or you can use the capture and scene if you don't have an image that you want to use. So once you've done that, now let's just look down that window a little bit. So you're going to see a whole lot of warnings in there. Remember what I said, a lot of the avatars you're going to buy will come with very poor ratings because they have a lot of clothing options. So they will sort of, they will throw warnings, but don't worry, that's not going to get in your way. If there's any auto-fix buttons, you may want to try hitting them. Generally, that's a good practice. But really, you've got to make sure that your platform you've got selected here is Windows. That's so important. Hit that Windows button if it's not selected. Don't do Windows and Android. That's very important. Only Windows. This is the Windows-only project. Once you've done that, hit Build and Publish. As I said, you've got to sit back and wait a couple of minutes. And when that's published, you'll get a little confirmation down the bottom in green saying avatar successfully uploaded. You may, on your first time in a session, get a little pop-up saying, I certify that I have the rights to upload this avatar, etc. Just click OK on that, of course. But yeah, that'll probably take about 5 minutes. So really, after that's done, save and close that project. And then go back to VRChat Creator Companion, the VCC, and then create another project. And this one we're going to call Avatar Zardia _Quest. So this is another quest one we're doing. So if you hit the Avatars, UT 2022 Avatar project, again, this will look familiar, of course. We're not going to go through all of it to the same level of detail as we did before. So yeah, again, now we're in the quest project that we've just created. So now I want you to open the Zardia Quest Unity package. Okay, not the PC one, the Quest one. And then also import the Poitoon one again. Once those have imported, you need to go and find the scene that says, in this case, Open Me. So this is the actual scene that the avatar's been created in. But obviously in our Quest project now. Once we're in there, again, select your avatar in the top, and then hover your mouse in the middle and press the F key, and it'll zoom you up nicely, and you'll see if there's any differences. They might be subtle. They should look pretty much the same though. And then just head up to the top. Again, go into VRChat SDK. Click on the Show Control panel. So sign in, because it's now a new project, so the sign-in credentials will be sort of cached in that new project. And then what you need to do now is not fill out any of these details, right? So you did that on the PC one. You don't need to do that again. So what you do instead is you got the Content Manager tab at the top. And then have a little look. You can see, under Avatars, you'll have the avatar that you uploaded a few moments ago. Click on that Copy ID button, and that's going to copy the blueprint ID for you. When you've done that, you go back to the inspector. So you have to sort of, to make sure you've got Zardia selected on the left, okay? And I haven't put an arrow against it here, but at the top, it says Inspector. Okay, you need to click on Inspector at the top. And then scroll right down in that Inspector window, and you'll find a section called Pipeline Manager Script. In that Pipeline Manager script, it says Blueprint ID optional. So you need to paste the value that you just copied from the other section we were just in. Paste that value into there, and then hit the Attach button, and watch what happens. So you'll notice now it's actually pulled in all the values from that PC avatar that we uploaded, which is great. If we scroll down, this bit's really important. Pay attention. You need to now post in the platform section and click the Android button instead, so make sure that only Android is ticked here. Once you've done that, you hit Build and Publish. And what will happen there is you've already uploaded the PC avatar. This now takes the Android version of the avatar and uploads into the same blueprint. So when you wear that avatar, PC people will see the PC version, Android people will see the Android version. Happy days. Okay. So yeah, if you were to go into VRChat, have a little look in your avatar's screen, head over to the uploaded section. And when you do that, you should see your new avatar is listed there. So if you click on it, you'll turn into it. That's that easy, guys. That is the end of the tutorial. Thank you for being an amazing audience. If you've got any questions, please do drop them in the comments. Please do consider a like and a subscribe, of course. That would really, really help. But yeah, apart from that, see you in the next tutorial. We're going to come thick and fast. Get ready.